We are trapped in a swirling mass of madness. Why on earth does Boris think that any means, all means, justify the ends, and that is his impossible dream of eradicating COVID-19 altogether, which he can never do?
I agree. We are caught in a perfect storm of stupid. There cannot have been a time in history when the world's governments collectively decided to commit suicide for what is basically a non-existent problem, which is to say, sure, people die of coronavirus and it can make you ill, but in most cases, it doesn't. In most cases, you get it asymptomatically. You don't even feel it. And yet we are destroying our economy. We are not just that. I mean, another thing that really bothers me is that we are destroying our way of life. Before I came here, I was in the changing room of my local gym, and I was just doing, looking at myself in the mirror, adjusting what's left of my hair.
Yeah.
And there was a bloke next to me with his
Looking
hair
at your
with his
six-pack,
hairdryer,
yeah.
and that's right. I was admiring my six pack, and I was sort of making my chest muscles ripple. And there was a bloke next to me, and he was drying his hair. And as I came and stood next to him, he sort of edged away. I was already standing 3 feet away from him, right? But he pulled away as far as the lead on the hairdryer would allow him, so he could be 6 feet away. It just turned our nation into a bunch of jelly babies, of just cowards. Why is, to answer your original question, why is Boris Johnson doing it? I think, first of all, we need to accept, and I know some of us elected him in the belief that he was going to be the guy who was going to deliver Brexit, he was going to conquer political correctness and make Britain great again. I think we now realise we were sold a pup. We bought into a false prospectus. The Boris that we were shown is not the Boris is real. And I should have known this. I mean,
well, you've known him since your university days, haven't you?
Yeah, but you know what, Kevin? It could have gone either way. He does have it within him, I'm sure, to kind of bluff his way into greatness. But that opportunity passed long ago.
Yes.
I think he made a wrong call. By the way, I've just been watching the interview that Piers Morgan did with Freddie Sayers at Unheard. And Piers Morgan is trying to make out that he isn't the guy responsible for kind of generating the hysteria that helped bully Boris Johnson into the lockdown craziness. Well, I'm sorry, Piers, you're not going to get away with that. You cheerled this lunacy. But Boris, had he been any good, I think he might have resisted the blandishments of Piers Morgan, and I think he might have consulted other people beside Neil pants down Ferguson. Yeah. And I think he might have come to the conclusion that maybe that there were other options. Maybe he might have gone the Swedish way. I don't know. But that was a few months ago. Now here we are where we are. And we know a lot more about the virus. Mm-hmm. We know that like all viruses, it follows something called a Gompertz curve. So it accelerates steeply at the beginning, reaches a peak, and then it goes slowly down, almost to nothing. Mm-hmm. And that's the stage we're in now. And yet we're in this ridiculous position where we are locking down towns in the north. Now Sadiq Khan has got in on the act. He wants to show that how macho he is. I mean, it's funny. There's an obsession with leftist politicians. Look at Nicola Sturgeon. Look at Mark Drakeford in Wales to show that they can be even more fascistic than.
Isn't
than
that
the
extraordinary? The way
it's
doing. Extraordinary the way that Starmer, Andy Burnham, Sadiq Khan, these scions of the left, they have a massive opportunity here to embrace the nation and say, we're going to back the Swedish way. We want to give you back your freedom. We want to tackle this alleged crisis in a sensible, grown-up way. But instead, no, they say, Boris hasn't gone far enough. We'll take more of your freedom away. Fantastic. That's really going to work. But to go back to, your knowledge of Boris, I mean, he's not a stupid man. Can he not see that this germ, this virus, COVID-19, presents no serious danger to the vast, vast, vast majority of this country. Only an infinitesimal number of people will ever be affected by this. An even smaller number of people will die. You do not run politics to serve a tiny minority at the expense of a massive majority. Why can't he compute that? Why can't he work that out?
If you'd asked me that question a week ago, Kevin, I would have said, no, the guy hasn't a bloody clue. I think that something has changed now, and it's been quite interesting. I think that Rishi Sunak and Boris are now having a kind of, oh my God moment. They know the world of economic pain that is coming, and that is not avoidable now. There are going to be, I heard the other day that 20,000 jobs are going to be lost at the NEC in Birmingham. Can you imagine what that's going to do to the local economy? 20,000 jobs.
Well, it just emerged. It just emerged today, James. It just emerged today that 200,000 jobs are going to be lost in the hospitality area in London alone, in pubs, restaurants, etc. 200,000 jobs.
That wouldn't surprise me. No, I went in and had a lunch at one of my favourite restaurants, Boysdale, today, because I
my wife was there. My wife
was
there. She was there today as well.
It was full.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the bastions of soundness. Anyway, I think that Boris he's been talking to people like Sunetra Gupta now, which they haven't been doing before. Sunetra Gupta, professor of virology at Oxford, who was one of the co-authors of the Great Barrington Declaration, which is far more sensible. You know, the Great Barrington Declaration is saying that actually we shouldn't lock down the whole country. We should just protect the very, very vulnerable, but otherwise let people get on with their lives. That's what we should be doing, what we should have done all along. I think that Boris, oddly enough, I mean, he's a complete chancer. I think he's been slightly rescued by Keir Starmer, who has made a complete unforced error by deciding that actually what he wants is extreme lockdown now, this so-called, what's it called, circuit breaker, a lockdown. By
it means lockdown. Yeah, it's just a different word for it. Yeah.
No, do you not agree, Kevin? That is about the most stupid thing. He's supposed to be a lawyer with a forensic brain. That is the most fatuous decision I think he's made in his career. He could have totally roasted Boris, and the same that Andy Burnham could have done it in Manchester. All these attention-grabbing leftists could have made it an issue about the economy, about protecting jobs, because that's going to cause far more damage than the coronavirus.
And I think
they could have said.
Liberty as well now. Liberty. We will give you back your liberty. We'll allow you to go back to work. We'll get the economy running again. It'll be like Sweden. You can go to the pub, you can go to restaurants, and you'll all be sensible. Anybody who embraced that policy and put that up against what Boris is trying to do to us would be on a winning ticket. But instead, what do? They say, no, Boris isn't going far enough. It's the most pathetic piece of opposition I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and the frustration, I think, for a lot of us, I'm sure a lot of your listeners are thinking this. They're thinking, well, okay, so Boris is offering us lockdowns in all but name all over the country. The opposition are offering even more extreme lockdowns. Where do we go to? Where's the voice of opposition to all this nonsense? What party can we vote for? I think a lot of people have vowed never to get, a lot of natural conservatives like me have vowed they're never going to vote Conservative again. But if you're a Labour voter and you're about to lose your job, why would you vote for a party that wants more of the things that cause you to lose your job?